The dragons were fierce. They fought with power and swiftness that brought many hunters and soldiers to their knees, and a cunning that surprised even the most skilled battle strategists. Where many fell, however, the Corvis Triad succeeded. They slew the dragons one by one. Even the mighty Tiamat was vanquished by their hands. Many historians have asked the obvious question: how were the Corvis Triad successful, where many others, as skilled in combat as they were, and in greater numbers too, failed? The answer might surprise you. Though weapons sharp and armor light, it was not their gear that made them unstoppable, nor their quick reflexes and well-honed bodies for battle. Years of experience aided their fight, but still was not what held them together. Who can tell me what it was that inspired their success when so many others fell to the dragons?
You've heard this tale many times, and of course, you know the answer. But before you have a chance to respond, several of the young ones in the crowd shout out, almost at once, "Each other!" With a warm smile, Percy continues.
We have some historians in the crowd, I can see. Yes, you are indeed correct. They say it was an unbreakable bond of friendship that led the Corvis Triad to victory. And so,
Percy declares as the story comes to an end, arms held high, casting long, dancing shadows on the audience.
we must not quiver in the face of a larger foe, as eons ago the Corvis Triad showed us by their deeds. What we learn from this tale is quite clear, that to accomplish such deeds, to prove oneself a hero, that is the greatest of all aspirations that a man can hold in his heart.
The wise man Percy bows as the crowd stands to applaud his performance. After a moment, the people disperse. Hardly perceptible, the memory of this night flashes through your mind. So much has changed since the story was told just 2 nights ago. It was late, and the young ones needed their sleep. But before you turned back to your house, you remember, you caught the attention of your friends once more. You each exchanged an eager smile, sensing the strong bond that you share with each other. Then you finally turned back to your houses, haste in your steps.
Tonight is the night you test your strength,
just as the Corvis Triad did when they led their crusade against the dragons. Tonight, you prove yourself a hero.
And we're live! Hello all, welcome back to the Invictus stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with my judicious friend, Mr. Justin.
Order!
My crazy friend, Christopher. My alienated friend, Alex.
Am I allowed here? I don't think I'm allowed here.
And we are back with Dragon Age Heroes Part 4.
It really feels like Part 10.
It really does feel like
Not
Part
because
10.
it's been long, but it's just
because
so
it feels so completed.
Yes.
This is, of course, the fourth part of our Dragon Age Heroes mini-campaign that Justin has worked so tirelessly on. Let's give him a aw. Because, why not? We are so excited to be here on this Wednesday night. Thank you all for hanging out with us. It is always a pleasure to be here with you guys, hanging out, having a blast, and having a little bit of fun. This is, of course, an 18-plus game, although it's been probably the least 18-plus game we've ever had. But we always need to warn, because we like to swear an awful lot. Isn't that right, Alex?
Fuck yeah.
Uck, yeah, he says as his audio cuts out. No, it is of course an 18+ stream, and that's just because we don't want to limit ourselves to anything we can't do. So, if you're not comfortable with the 18 plus, that's fine. You do not have to watch on any of the multiple streaming services we're on right now. But before you leave, you go ahead and you like the video on YouTube. In fact, everybody watching right now, go ahead, jump on YouTube and like the video. We ask that you like the video because every time you like the video, a tiny little stone is picked up off a sandy beach and tossed into the blue ocean for a fish to swallow and die. And we don't like fish, don't we, Chris?
No. Do you not like her? I don't like him if you don't like him.
We don't. I don't. Justin, you don't like him, right? That's what you said.
Well, I was under the impression that we liked fish.
No,
we like fish.
We like fish.
We
That's
do like
what,
fish.
Yeah, we do like fish.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's right. No, we like fish.
Like it.
Every time you like a video, we throw a stone into the water, and that's a good thing because it makes the fish not die. Anyway, like the video is the end to this long narrative. Also, if you are on YouTube, subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, then what the hell's wrong with you? So just go ahead and do it. If you are new to Facebook, the entire platform in general, it's a really cool thing. You can connect with old high school friends. You can message old girlfriends to see if they still like you after your current one dumped you. There's a lot of things that you can and cannot do on Facebook. But one of the things you want to do is go ahead and join our Facebook group. The Facebook group is the place where all the cool people get together and chat and hang out. However, tonight we're actually chatting on our Discord channel. That's right. You can find the Discord channel on the link in the Facebook group or the link of this video description. All the cool people are chatting there. We got Zio, we got David, we got, wow, everybody's talking here. It's great. I just named two people because everyone else has different names. That's the confusing thing. I don't know who I guess that's Mycl Barber. Actually, I probably could have pieced that together. Who's this Mick Webb? It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, go chat on Discord. That's the cool place where all the cool kids are hanging out. But the Facebook group is really important. Because when you're part of the Facebook group and you share your stories and your ideas and your dreams, you are entered into an imaginary pool. And this pool is called the Most Valuable Post. Now, the Most Valuable Post is sort of the place where we go and pick out the person or persons who inspire during the week, who have sort of the nicest or funniest or most interesting story. And it really is just to build a sense of community together. And it is something that we are very happy to announce since the dawn of time. Without further ado, I'm going to throw it to my brother Alex to tell us who this week's most valuable post is going to be. Alex, take it away.
Thank you very much. Well, this week the is gonna go to Zia for her post about the giant kaiju, if that's the way you pronounce it. Yeah, it was a really neat post about what do you think is gonna be the scariest, or I'm not looking at it right now, but long story short, it's a very interesting thought. We all know Godzilla, but what else that could come into the city?
I think Harlan suggested, or someone did, is snapping turtle. That would be not like a regular turtle like Gamera, like just a giant turtle that just bites ankles.
Just bites Justin's ankles.
Just bite. Where is Justin?
And for anyone who doesn't
congratulations, Zaya.
Oh, congratulations, Zaya. Well done. For anyone who might not know why I should say Justin is afraid of snapping turtles, watch our Wrath of the Gods game called Nature something or other. I can't remember what it's called. And you'll know why. He actually does have a deep-seated fear of snapping turtles. Am I wrong, Justin?
When I swim in northern Ontario now, in Muskokas at the cottage, there is a part of me that you don't know what's underneath you. You don't know what's swimming beside you.
That's true.
And snapping turtles are a thing here, so
yeah, they are. We have one of the dock.
A little bit faster,
and they're scary. They are. They're very I want to say like dinosaurs almost. I was gonna say Jurassic, but it doesn't really apply.
They're ancient
animals. But not ancient makes it sound too old. I'm just trying to dinosaur-esque. There's got to be a term that just kind of
timeless creatures of the deep.
That's even more wordy, but I like it. Apparently it's Zia. Oh no, Zia. Z-I-A. Anyway, she apparently added Justin to the list as well as Henry to the list, and I would not be afraid of a giant Henry. He would just gurgle and spit, and sometimes maybe throw up on
And
people.
I think I'm only a couple inches short of kaiju monster
Of an
status.
actual kaiju monster.
Yeah.
So already he kind of applies. So well done to you. You will be MVP. That's right. So the MVP is one of the ways we like to reward you guys. The other ways is the mid-game post. That means about halfway through this game, we're going to stop the action. We're going to go to the Facebook group. We're going to post the question, and you're going to want to answer the question. Now, depending on its difficulty, and this is a bit of a change to last week, and this is what we're going to be using for the future. What am I talking about? Justin messaged me in chat, and I got confused. Oh. Okay.
Mid-game post?
Yeah, the mid-game post has
Probably.
3 tiers of difficulty. We've changed it a bit. So when you have the answer, submit it as soon as you can, just like last time. But if it's a difficult question, we're going to roll a 1d6. And whatever number that lands on, we will count that many correct answers. So, for example, let's say Trevor Toth answered correctly and he was the 4th correct answer. We'll roll a 1d6. If it happens to land on 4, Trevor will be the one to win, not just the first answer. So that's sort of the way we're trying to make it a little bit more chance. That's if it's a tough question. If it's an easy question, and this will be dependent, or I should say judged by the person who asks the question, tonight will be Justin, we'll roll a 1d20. So the chances will be greater, but the question will be easier. So more people have a chance to throw their hat in the ring, so to speak. And that's how we're going to do the mid-game post from here on out. So watch for that around 9:30-ish. And finally, at the end of the game, we're going to do the end game XP. That is for the person or persons who are most helpful throughout the game. And we're going to be monitoring Discord chat tonight. So if you want to be helpful, if you want to give advice, go message there. It's the easiest place. It kind of has all the features of Facebook. It has all the features of the YouTube chat. And it has a bit more ability because you can add pictures and stuff like that. So go ahead, check out the Discord. It's in the link in the description here. I've also posted in the YouTube chat over here. And I also have it tattooed to my lip right here.
Yeah.
Can you not see that? Well, fuck you then. Too bad.
He's committed. He's committed.
So I also want to do another quick shout out to our charity, Extra Life. We are still plugging away very strongly at the Extra Life organization, which is something that we backed in support of the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. And I'm so happy to announce that last Friday night, during the spooky game night, when we played Outlast 2, we beat $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, we beat the
$1,000.
we beat the fuck out of that.
I totally smashed your buttons for that one.
Yeah, smash that like button. No, but it was fantastic actually, and a shout out to everybody who donated there. I want to list them all up, but I'm probably gonna forget. I think it was Mark Lane, Zia for sure, Bjorn, Hans Ziegler was the one who pushed us over the edge. Justin Thomas James donated, and think I might be forgetting somebody, so I'm so sorry if I am. But I do know for sure those people did donate. So thank you guys so much. You deserve a big round of applause.
Bravi.
It was very cool. Yeah, I'm continually floored and impressed by the generosity of you guys. It's fantastic. And if you feel like donating tonight, please do. The link is again in the description of this video. And, it helps kids. That's really the main motivation here. But also it makes me like you just a little bit more. And some of you desperately need that, let me just tell you. Because your rating on the Harlanometer is way down here. Like right below even the screen. It's just down here. That's it for me. But stick around. Because at the end of this game, at 11 o'clock on the dot, depending on when we finish, it might go a bit over, we're going to premiere live the trailer for the Call of Cthulhu campaign that we are starting next Wednesday. That's right. This coming Wednesday, we are returning to the world of Arkham, Massachusetts for Call of Cthulhu, The Witch's Mark. And I have a brand new trailer cut together that I'm going to show you guys at the end of tonight's game. So if staying for a fantastic story isn't enough motivation, you want to see that. So, everybody, everywhere, put your hands together for my man, Mr. JJJ. Only one together, just once.
Yep.
That's it.
That's how I like it. Any more is too overwhelming for me.
No, it's just he doesn't like it. So
He
anyway,
likes the namaste.
namaste. All right, that's it. So without further ado, I'm excited to see what happens tonight. Mr. Justin Thomas James, take it away.
Marin, you awaken to the sound of a bell ringing in the distance. And as you toss and turn, you feel the small hands of Morley pushing you and jostling you, trying to get you to wake up. Melwin, wake up, wake up!
Morley, is everything okay? What's going on?
And you look around, and everything looks wrong. You are immediately surprised to see you're in a tent. And eventually you realize that you remember where you were last night. You came to see Murdra and to stop him from going to the town. Well, as you step out of the tent, or as you look around, you see that the campsite is completely empty. And it's
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a nice day. Birds are chirping, and Morley turns to you and says, "Where are we? Why are we here right now?"
So I immediately grab Morley's hand and I say, "Oh no, they've already gone to the village." And we race back to
Yes.
Helton.
Perfect. So the sound of the bell that you heard was coming from Helton. And ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And you run back as fast as you can, but it still takes you about 20, 25 minutes to get over Copland's Field, through the forest. And by the time you get back, or by the time you get close, you hear the bell ringing again. It stopped for a while, and now it's ringing even more frantically. And you push through the last few trees separating you from the town, and you see people running around. There's chaos. A man lies in the middle of the town, dead, an arrow protruding from his back. And people are running back and forth. The guards are saying, "Get in your houses! Get in your houses! Get away from the caves!"
So I grab Morley and I try to kind of hide his eyes from the gruesome, bloody battle that stands before us. Although I don't think it does much good.
Well, it doesn't. He kind of turns away, and it looks, to assess the situation, it isn't really a big bloody battle right now. The person that you saw is kind of the only person in the middle of the street. There are a couple other bodies that have been dragged off to the side, but you only see this one guard that is dead. Everybody else seems to be okay. And as you were running, it was sunny. It's still a very, very sunny day, but you can see Valette running through the town, going to doors, knocking on doors, and you see other people stepping out and looking in the street, and guards trying to stop them from going too far.
Okay, so am I too far away from Valette to run up and speak with her?
No, you can definitely run up.
So I grab Morley by the hand then, and I kind of drag him everywhere I'm going at this point.
Okay.
So I run to Valette and what's going on? I assume there was some sort of attack. Acting dumb, of course.
Yeah, and she says, "Quick, get to that house. You have to warn them. There's darkspawn coming from the caves."
Darkspawn? Now.
Yes, now go quickly. And she runs to another house and begins knocking on it. And you see, as you turn to the house that she pointed to, it's actually the Blackwaters place. And there are a couple of rebels that you recognize. They are there, and they're standing with their arms still tied, and they're looking around, and you see Murdra among them.
Okay, so I immediately run over to Murdra at the Blackwater home.
Yeah.
I was going to say, sorry, not to interrupt, Justin, but just to give a visual, because you mentioned Darkspawn, but I don't think a lot of people are familiar with what they might be.
Right. Okay. So the Darkspawn are, I mean, they're the orcs of Dragon Age, but in this setting, they're very tall, burly, very vicious-looking creatures. They look like men, but they've got sharp, jagged teeth. Their skin is all mottled. They come from below, just kind of like the orcs. And they, every once in a while, something happens in the land of Thedas where they rise up from the depths, and they begin attacking the land. And they attack in hordes. And if you haven't played Dragon Age, then they're very intimidating creatures to be up against. Now, in terms of painting a picture, they haven't flooded the town. For some reason, Valette says that they're attacking, but they haven't flooded or overrun the town yet.
So maybe they're just gathering their forces outside of town.
And she says that they're coming from the caves. But either way, you make it to Murdra. And Murdra says, Marin, you're back. Let me free. Let me free.
I immediately let him free, and I say, Murdra, we can't be causing more harm and battling each other right now. And as I'm cutting his binds with my pocket knife.
We've got bigger problems now. Get Morley. Stay with him, okay? And he goes to the middle of the street, and he picks up a sword that's just lying idle on the ground. And he begins knocking on doors.
And I look at the others, and I say, "Follow Murdra." And I assume there's other rebels that were with him.
Yeah.
So I untie them too, and I say, "Go. We're now all human, working together." And as my 17-year-old wisdom, trying to come forth here and show these guys.
They all seem pretty startled, but they don't turn on any of the guards. The guards are all very busy trying to actually they're not trying to keep people in their houses. You actually hear them say, "We have to evacuate the town. We have to evacuate." Okay. And they're helping people out of their homes. And Sawyer, you hear a knock on your door. And someone shouts, "The Darkspawn are here! You have to leave! You have to leave your homes! Everyone inside, leave!"
Is this immediately after the last episode? Like
yeah,
right away?
So what did you see? This is immediately after. What happened? What did you see?
So at the very end, after we saw the chaos and the turmoil, I had broken into the barracks and I stole some armor.
This was the chaos and turmoil between the rebels and the guards.
That's right. So we saw young men accidentally being slain. The guards had no intent to kill them, but some in the chaos did end up passing away. And I carried the armor and I went into my hut and kind of closed the door behind it. I was trying to hide it under the floorboards. And right away I hear this knock at the door. So I open the door and I look to see who it is.
You see a tall, lean guard, and he's looking over that your house isn't too far away from the caves. It's along the straight path. You did actually see, before the end, you saw the guard with an arrow through his chest. And you did turn to the caves to see the hordes of the Darkspawn standing at the entrance, some with bows.
Okay, in that case, I say to the man, I can't leave. My mom, she's sick.
You have to get her up, and we have to take her away. This is not a matter that we can wait on. We do not have much time.
So, I look at the Legion, I say, come in, I'll need help. And I open the door, and I walk over to the bed. Mom, we gotta move you. And I go to try to lift her up onto kind of standing position, see if she can wake at all.
Okay. So while you're doing that, Marin, what are you doing? You're standing with Morley.
Yeah, so I guess, do I see... so I've just released a couple more of the rebels. Do I see what's going on over at the Almeric's mill?
Yeah, so you see a guard go around the back, to the back door of the Almeric's, you assume, to warn them.
Okay, so I quickly unbind a couple more of the rebels, and then I grab Morley by the hand and I run around the back to the Almeric house.
Okay, and as you run around the back, it doesn't come near you, but you're startled to see and hear a arrow slide across the road towards you. It lands on the ground and slides across. And the road pretty much is a straight bet right to the cave.
Okay.
And it looks like they're shooting arrows from inside of the cave.
And looking up towards the cave, Do I see anything?
No. Well, yeah. Sorry, you do. You see the some figures in the cave, standing in the darkness, and every now and then you see one creature jump out of the shadows, and you are again startled to see this. It looks like a man. He's bald, but he's big and stout, and he's holding a jagged, curved axe, and seems to be dripping with some sort of black liquid. And immediately after he jumps out into the sunlight, he recoils back and goes into the shadow.
Ah. So I make the connection, obviously, in my mind that they're not a sun-loving creature. A, they're coming from the caves. B, I'm seeing this and I'm putting 2 and 2 together. They're firing arrows. They haven't flooded the town.
Yeah.
So as I come around the back, do I see Sawyer at all?
You do see the doors open. There's an Orlesian guard inside. And he's saying, "I have to go. I cannot help you here." And as soon as he sees you step inside, he says, "Oh, thank the Maker. I'm leaving. He will help you." And he runs out of the house.
Sawyer, where's Eric?
I have no idea. I don't. Help me with my mom. And I
Absolutely, for sure.
They're coming. The dark spawn. I gotta get her out of here. I gotta get her to safety.
Of course, we have to get out of here right now. Come to my hut, my miner's hut.
Do you
Hopefully
have
we
her?
can.
I make sure that she's propped up well.
Oh, the dark
And
spawn, like Percy talks about?
Morley's there.
Morley's there.
Say that again.
I didn't
The
realize
dark
Morley was there.
spawn, like Percy talks about in the stories?
Morley, listen, I'm not going to butter this up, but yes, exactly like Percy talks about in the stories. You have to be brave. Here, take this, and I hand him my dagger. It's like a foot-long dagger.
And he knows you've told him never to play with your dagger. And he takes it, and he looks up at you and nods with a serious look.
Be careful with that. It's very sharp, but use it if you need to. If you need it. And then I proceed now, and stay close to us. And then I proceed to help Sawyer with his mother.
Perfect.
You get that side. I'll get this side.
As we're propping her up, I want to go to the floorboards, pull back the floorboards, grab the armor I got, put it on, put a cloak over top, and grab my weapons as well.
Okay. And you make your way out of the Almeric house. Now, meanwhile, in another part of town, Percy runs around and says, "We have to leave. We have to escape. The Maker has condemned us. He has condemned the town. We must leave." And he runs by Valette. And Valette has already sent a scout. One of her guards, one of her only 5 guards, 4 now, to take a steed and to run as quickly as possible to the local town, to Perrendale. And so he's already left. And Percy follows this man to the stables. And as the stable boy sees Percy, Percy says, "You, let me past, I must have a steed." And before the boy can even protest, Percy jumps on to a horse. And with a couple kicks and pulling the reins, he takes the horse and leaves the town. And the 2 of you step out in time to see Valette running towards the stables, shouting, "No, where are you going?" And you see what you can just make out as Percy on one of the horses' backs, fleeing town.
God.
What a piece
Man,
of
where's
shit.
he going?
So he
What's
runs.
the most secure place? Because that's what we're trying to get to. Whatever makes the most sense to carry my mom away from
The caves. Just
right?
run into the caves.
In times of danger, the villagers go to the cave.
Once you get past the
Perfect
dark
there.
spawn, you're good.
So Perrendale is about a 2-week walk, but about a 2-day ride, maybe 1 if you're really pushing it.
Well, I
away
obviously don't
from-
think we're going to make it to Perrendale.
Perrendale's the closest place.
But I don't. Okay, I could head kind of away from the caves, but to think I'm going to carry my mom there the whole way doesn't make sense. Is there more horses that I know of in town?
Definitely. There are more horses, and you do see Valette going to the stables, and she actually posts one of her guards at the stables and tells them to stay. But meanwhile, do you begin walking towards the stables, or?
Yeah, we'll try to get a horse.
We kind of have
Okay.
to walk together. So before you continue, Justin, I mean, part of my idea was to go to our house because it's kind of closer to the other end of town. But I think if the caves are over here, you're over here, your place, and then our place is way over the other end of town.
Right.
I mean, maybe that's not a good idea, but it's worth talking about, at least at this moment. You and
No
I.
offense, man. Your house is no. It's not gonna stand up. If someone wants to get into the house, it's not a stronghold.
You're absolutely right. What are we gonna do, Sawyer?
We gotta get my mom out of town. I gotta get her away from here. She's in no condition to be in it. I'm gonna get a horse.
We're gonna walk to Parendale?
No, I'm gonna get a horse.
All right, fine. Let's try.
So, you guys begin making your way to the stables. Meanwhile, Eric, it is midday. You've been walking. What are you up to?
Since I left, I've just been trying to go as far as I can. Not looking back.
So you've been going for pretty much 24 hours now. We're getting closer to 24 hours. And I think you did sleep for a bit because you met with the mysterious stranger.
I did, yeah. First night I slept, went through my bug out bag, had some lambus bread.
Yes, of course, the lambus bread. And as you're walking, you hear the bells of Helton very faintly in the distance. Very, very, very faintly ringing.
Helton? 3 days away? Nearly. Well, really far, I guess.
No,
I
not
suppose...
3 days away.
No, I'm just joking.
Less than a day.
Nah. And for a moment I stop and I turn around and I look back the way I came, listen to the bells in the distance, and I have my back, my pack, thumbed on my back, and I turn around and I look. And I wait for a moment, waiting to feel something inside me that says, go back, do what's right. And the words of Percy echo through my head for just a second. Each other. And I shake my head, remembering Percy standing on the hill, pointing viciously towards me as he came. I turn away and I continue walking.
Okay. So you continue walking, and I want you to do a perception check.
Right. Shabadoo. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And my... Why did I put my sheet down here? 13.
13. All right. So you notice something. You've been kind of following the road, every now and then ducking onto it, then ducking off, then ducking back on when you think it's clear, and then ducking off. And you see something on the road that stands out in this beautiful spring day. You see red. Deep crimson red.
And at first, I'm confused because it's in the woods, you said?
It's on the road.
I walk
But
over.
you can be in the woods.
I tentatively head out. What could be red? Do I recognize what the red is? Is it like small? Is it large?
As you step out, as you push your way through the brush, you see very clearly that on the road, there is a long smear of blood caked into the dirt as something was dragged off into the woods, not far away from where you are.
So I walk out of the woods and I kind of bend down to the blood and I touch it and I smell it. Is it fresh?
Yep. Probably within the last 24 hours.
And I look up to the direction where it was dragged. Do I see anything? With a roll of... Nope, I don't see anything.
No, it's pretty obvious. The blood there's so much of it that you're pretty easily able to follow it into the woods. just down the road a little bit.
So I sort of tentatively look back again, and I think for a moment. Blood in the road. These are dangerous roads. But I'm not inhuman. I feel like I've been betrayed by friends, but I also feel like it forced me to find a side that I felt right on, to find my own path. And I sort of nod to myself, reassuring myself that even though this magic that burns inside me is something that fills me with fear and doubt, because it's something that I've always learned was evil, I realize that my choices are my own. So I stand up and look towards the path, and I go to follow, to hopefully help.
Okay. There's nothing... When you find what's been dragged, you realize very quickly that there's nothing you can do for this person. The body of Yorick lies in the brush. His entrails are littered about, some,
Jesus
what's
Christ.
left of him, and it looks like he's been mauled. Thick, deep gashes run across his back and chest, and most of his stomach is completely gone.
Fuck.
And you remember Yorick. Yorick is...
Oh yeah, I
big-
know, I remember. I'm looking for
strong.
my...
I knew him well.
Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well. And I pick up his skull. He was the town
There is-
jester!
His greatsword, his very nice greatsword.
It's an
is
okay
lying on the
sword, let's
ground
be
here.
honest here. Damn it. In the first episode, I decided that Eric would say something. Fuck something. It was like fuck a duck or something. And I wrote it down trying to remember what it was, and I can't for the life of me.
This
was
is
like-
the perfect time to say it.
Yeah, bucket of fuck. That's it.
Bucket of fuck.
So he bends down and says, bucket of fuck. And he goes up to Yorick. Does it look like an animal tore him apart? Like, can I
Definitely.
investigate it? Okay.
Definitely. Wasn't a wolf. You're thinking either a bear. Still, though, here, it doesn't seem likely it's a bear. Much more likely it was a red lion.
So again, I sort of stay low and quiet, kind of nervous that it could be around, and I think for a moment, why were you all the way out here? Were you running away? And I kind of check his body, just to see if there's anything on him.
Okay. So, in one of his pockets, you do actually find a note.
And I open said note.
It's a love letter. You read through it, and it looks like Yorick had a lover in Perrendale, and he decided that the rebellion you assume it wasn't written in the letter, but the person on the letter pleads with him not to attack the town, and maybe your words with him the other night struck a chord with him, and was all he needed to try to make the trek.
And I kind of sit back, almost surprised, and I lean against a tree. Jesus, Yorick. You look like a big dumb bastard, but it turns out you were smarter than everyone else gave you credit for. And I tuck the note into my coat. And is there anything else on it besides his greatsword?
Yep, there's a pack with some apples and water. There's a water sack that's about half empty.
And I sort of go through it and I take what's important from it, aka the apples. And a fruit and nut bar, if there are any of those. I love those.
Nature Valley.
Oh, damn it. Those things are so crumbly. It's just
I
like
know they
covered
are.
in crumbs.
It's very inconvenient.
All right. So yeah, I take what it is. And then I stand up and I go to turn, and again I stop myself and I walk over to him and I bend down and I say, peace be with you. And I close his eyes kind of in a moment, thinking that, you know, he was a guy who felt he was doing the right thing by honoring those who had fallen. And again, I stop for a second just thinking, you know, those who do the right thing not knowing what they do, and those bells of Helton ring in the distance. But again, I shake my head and I continue down the road.
Perfect. So, meanwhile, back at the Blackwater household, your father, Hugo, sits at a small dining table by the window, and he's focusing intently on something that he's holding. So much so that he pays no attention to the bells ringing in the town. His flask is upturned in a pot of soil that once held a plant long time ago, and for as long as Eric can remember has just only held soil. But his flask is overturned and the soil has absorbed all the whiskey that was inside the flask. And Hugo's eyes are red, and he hasn't slept all night. And in his hands, he holds an old, weathered sketch. Though the charcoal has faded significantly, we can still make out the face of a woman. The sketch is black and white, except for her eyes, where someone has colored them a beautiful cobalt blue. He doesn't say anything, of course, he's alone, but continues to stare at the sketch. Suddenly, there's a rap at the door. His eyes dart in the direction as a fearful voice sounds from outside. "Darkspawn, from the caves! If you're in there, you gotta get out, Hugo!" And then the voice fades away. And now he can hear kind of the chaos of the town, people shouting, people screaming. Every now and then, he hears a bird chirping through all the chaos. He doesn't speak and continues to stare at the sketch. But after a moment, he stops, closes his eyes, and raises the sketch to his lips. He then slips it into his chest pocket, pushes back the chair, and strides towards the door. But before he leaves, he stops and reaches above the door, where a fine great axe, ornate, and his best piece of work, stands above the door. And he tests it, just feeling the weight of it, before he opens the door and steps into the chaotic street.
Whoa.
Take him down, Doc.
That is badass.
Marin and
He's good at beating
Sawyer.
something, all right. He's like, nurse my black
Got
eye.
lots of practice.
Yeah.
Sawyer and Marin, you try to make your way to the stables, and Valette sees you coming and stops you and says, "You are taking your mother out of here, yes?"
We have
I
to
don't
get
have a
her.
choice. I gotta get her away from here before the Darkspawn overruns the town.
I agree. Bruno, over here. And one of her guards comes over, and she says, "Okay, I am glad that the two of you are volunteering for this, because someone has to do it. We do not have a lot of time. From the top of the tower, we can see that the Darkspawn do not want to leave that cave. They are afraid. They do not like the sun, which is good. As long as we have the sun on our side, you have a chance to get away. So it is up to you to
Justin.
take." Oh, it's midday.
Perfect. Okay.
But we do not have much time. A storm front approaches from the north.
Jesus. I look.
Once the cloud cover comes, you look, and it looks absolutely beautiful. You can't really
Okay.
see from here, but you think that you hear the faint sound, the faint sound of thunder. Once those clouds are over us, the Darkspawn are going to attack. And there are way too many of them for us to defeat them.
So let's get out of here.
I intend to do my job, and that is to protect the town of Helton. You must leave. Take the townsfolk that cannot stay. Some of us, and she stops, she trails off, as Hugo Blackwater steps towards you.
Some of us what? And then I see him stepping towards us as well. And he draws my attention with the axe.
Yes.
Some of us need to stay and fight, is what I believe she was going to say, yes? That is correct, yes. Are going to give you as much time as possible. We're going to sacrifice ourselves. There is no ways that we are going to be able to defeat them. So you get these townsfolk as far as possible away.
I'll do what I can. Do I know of any
No.
other elderly?
Get them to Perrendale.
Yeah.
You must do this. Defend them with your life.
Is there any other elderly or people who would not be able to get themselves out in safety?
There's about 5 other little children in town.
And looking in the stable, is there a wagon or anything that would be able to take?
Yep. And it looks like some of the stable hands are already pulling out the wagons from the back and getting them geared
Perfect.
up. And every now and then, you guys are kind of standing beside a building, beside the main street. And every now and then, you see people like dart across. And every time someone darts across, an arrow flies through the air. Usually, well, none of them hit, but the street is pretty much a no man's land right now.
Right. Open season.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I'm only 17, but I suppose I also feel like a duty to stay and fight. Though I also feel like people should be.
Marin, we need to get out of here. We need to protect. We need to take as many of the kids as we can to the town.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here. And I look to the cart, and do I see someone getting? Is there a free cart, or is there one that's getting ready that I think I can?
Yep.
Get onto?
There are a couple free carts. There's about 6 or 7 horses.
Help me get dressed into one of the carts, and I go over and I ask Marin to help me lift my mother into some of the hay in the back. So there's enough room here for the children, Morley's friends. We'll go pick them up, and then we'll get on our way. We should be able to get halfway there before the clouds are in, at least. If we make good time and we don't have any trouble with mud.
You're right.
So try to get the horse ready as quickly as I can.
You'll need my help on the road as well, and I need your help, and I'm gonna be no use here, and we need to get these people to safety. So you're right.
Okay. So you begin getting the carts ready, and as this is happening, you see people some people are being brought in. Some of the elderly and the weak. A lot of the women and the children come in, and they help you get it ready, and eventually you have about 3 carts ready to go. And by this point, you can hear the sound of thunder. It's much closer. And you think maybe you've only got about 10 or, well, about 20 or 30 minutes.
Those clouds are moving a lot faster than I thought they were. We really.
Oh, sorry. What did you say? What did you say?
I thought like a few hours at least travel, but
a few hours. By the time you get everything ready, you think you've got about an hour left. We'll say.
Okay, so now that the cart is ready, Morley, run ahead, or Marin, run ahead. Maybe tell the kids to get ready. We'll meet at the crossroads, then we'll go from there.
Okay, and then I turn to Sawyer, and I turn to the others who are standing nearby, and I say, keep clear of those streets, because it's looking dangerous. And I take off in the other direction.
And as you go to run, you see the door open, and Murdra is there. And he sees you going, he says, what you're doing is really brave, Marin.
Are you staying,
goes
Murdra?
in. Yeah. And he goes in and he gives you a big hug.
And I also give him a big hug.
And he pulls you back.
And I'm trying not to
and he
smile,
says-
but
I know.
it's just really heart-wrenching.
He says, this is my chance. This is what I'm supposed to do. So good luck. And look
And I
after
say-
Morley, all right?
Yeah. And I say, you're going to be great. You're going to be all right. You're going to do great. You're going to slaughter those beasts.
Yeah. And with that, he steps aside and lets you run.
Excellent. So I go and on my way, gathering up the children and the elderly in the town,
Okay.
bringing them back to the stables.
So you bring them all back to the stables, and everyone is ready. You have just under an hour, you think, before the clouds are above you, and
Okay.
it's time to go.
All right. So let's get this train moving, or let's get this caravan moving.
As soon as everyone's ready, I try to get it going as fast as I can.
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
on a side note, because of these arrows, I mean, the road out of town, is it at all open to the breach of arrows coming at people?
No, it's too far.
Okay.
It's too far from now.
Okay,
There is a slight
fantastic.
curve. So it is. They technically could hit you if they got a really, really good shot, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Okay. Sorry. Let's take off.
Okay. So as you leave, an arrow hits you in the back of the head.
And I'm dead. Roll.
Insta
roll
death.
for that. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
So you begin. The horses
I guess-
kick off.
I guess last but not least, sorry, I mean, I see Valette, and she's standing there, in the stables. And
It's like nervous laughter. Alex is like
It
geeking
is.
to
It's
himself
like-
about what he's thinking.
well, man, this is like the crush. This is Marin's crush, and he's come to like and respect this woman, who is just a few years older than him. So I say, good luck, Valette, and I put a hand out.
And she takes it. She firmly grasps it and says, "Be brave. You can do
You
this."
too. And I
Thank
hope to
you.
see you soon.
It was nice knowing you, Marin Overarch.
I intend to see you in the future, Valette. Goodbye. And without even another thought, I get on the carriage and we go.
So the carriage takes off. The caravan leaves town and starts making its way down the road. And one last time, you turn your head and look back at the town. Valette, your older brother, Murdra, and Hugo Blackwater stand in front of a crowd of ragtag soldiers that are going to stand and fight the Darkspawn. Jumping forward a bit. Eric, you continue down the road. It's about 2 hours since you came across the remains of your, and thunder and a storm has come in. You can feel it starting. The air is filled with electricity, and thunder is rumbling nearby as you continue your way down the road. A few little flecks of raindrops begin to fall.
Jesus. And I continue down the road trying to look through the rain at the road
What's
ahead.
going through your mind right now?
Right now I'm thinking how alone I feel, how my friend left me behind, in a sense, didn't trust me with what he felt. Not physically left me behind, you tool. Left me behind emotionally, didn't bring me with him to what he thought was right and all that, Well, you saw it.
Yeah.
I don't even know, right?
Yeah.
But I am feeling very alone right now.
Right. So you continue on, and almost as if to answer your feeling of loneliness, you hear the sound of hooves coming up behind you.
And I run off the road and try to hide.
Okay. And you hide, and as soon as you turn around, the horse whips by, and on it you see an Orlesian guard
Okay.
is moving very, very, very quickly away from Helton.
I hid with an 11, just FYI.
He doesn't see you. He seems very, very focused on making his horse go as quickly as possible.
Okay. So as he kind of runs out or runs past, I run back out to the road, watching him kind of trail off. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And I think for a second that the attack must have succeeded, because I kind of turned back again towards Helton.
Mm-hmm. And as you turn back, a couple minutes maybe have gone by, and you see another figure on a horse. You're kind of at a high point, and it's coming towards you, but relatively slowly, much slower than the last one.
Can I try to make out who it is from a distance without trying to hide again?
Not really. No. Well, no, not really.
Roll
You
for
can't really
perception?
tell. It's
I was gonna say roll for perception. Okay.
We are rolling.
No, you can't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8, so 9, 10.
It's hard to tell. You feel like you'll have to jump into the bushes again.
Okay, I jump into the bushes again.
Okay, no trouble hiding. Eventually, this figure on the horse gets close enough, and the horse is buckling and stopping and doesn't want to move any further. It pretty much gets right in front of you and stops. And sitting on top of the horse is Percy.
What is he doing when the horse stops? Is he like patting it? Or...
He's shouting at it. He says,
Damned beast! Take me forward! Take me to Perendale!
and he's kicking it, and he's pulling the reins, and every time he pulls, the horse just digs in more. And
Now, when I left the town, I saw Percy sort of pointing at me and yelling at me and running towards me, right?
yes, and he was shouting, "Seize him! He must be killed," or something.
So
like
as
that.
I'm leaning as I'm crouched in the bushes, seeing him before me, a flicker of fire rests behind my eyes, and for a moment I think, and almost instinctively, or reactively, I should say, I stand up slowly and walk out from the trees.
Okay.
Percy, how nice of you to join me tonight. Wish the weather was a bit nicer. And I walk up straight to his horse, and I sort of just go to brush it.
Stay back! Stay back, Blackwater! What are you doing here? You
What am I doing here? You're the one who came towards me, friend. And I walk towards the front of the horse. Do I recognize the horse? I spent a lot of time in the stables. Do I recognize the horse at all?
You do recognize this horse, and it is named it was named actually after its stubbornness. Or it's a very stubborn horse, and it was named as such. I don't know. Do you have a name for it?
Yeah, this is Asta.
Stubborn horse.
Asta. This is Asta.
And you know this horse well, and it
Very
seems to
well. She
relax.
actually she's an older horse, but she's still very youthful. She actually wandered into the town only about a year ago, and she's been a almost free spirit, always trying to escape. And on boring days when my father was drunk out of his mind and the forge had no business, I'd walk over to the stables and I'd often just pet her. So I actually know her fairly well. And I walk over and I sort of just stroke her mane as I don't make eye contact with Percy.
It was you, wasn't it?
Was what me, Percy?
It was you who brought the Darkspawn into our town, yes? You were in the caves, weren't you?
I wasn't in any caves, Percy. And I kind of bring Asta's head towards mine, just sort of trying to do a few things that maybe freak him out a bit, but also things that I would normally do with Asta, just to sort of connect.
Okay.
And
What are you doing?
Continue stroking.
Get away from my horse!
What's the matter, Percy? You seem awfully afraid.
The Darkspawn have come into Helton, and Maker knows it was your fault! Foul apostate! Apostate! Apostate!
And with one hand on Asta's nose, and she kind of startles when he freaks out, and I keep her steady, and I kind of look up at him and I say, "What do you mean the Darkspawn?" Having left before anything had come.
The Darkspawn have entered town, and I know you know about it. I know you do. The Darkspawn have pulled out of the caves and are attacking Helton right this instant. Everyone inside of Helton is going to be slain. You must let me leave.
And for a second, I think about, again, Sawyer, and I still feel that feeling, but Marin and Morley, and I think, and my dad flashes in my brain for a second, but I push him past, and Valette, and I look back up to Percy. So why the fuck are you leaving?
I'm leaving to warn Perendale. I will tell them of the Darkspawn and send aid right away.
They have faster riders and more appropriate horses. Seems like odd. I was the one watching this road. You're the first person to leave. And not to mention there was an Elysian guard sent not 10 minutes before.
It does not matter. You let me go this instant.
And he yanks on the reins, and Asta goes up onto her heels.
And I let go of her, front end as she kicks back.
And I'm going to see whether or not he's able to actually get her going again.
Sure.
Oh, whoops. Set 1, 2, 3. All right, so she plants down again, takes a couple steps, but then stops once again.
Okay, and
Damn it, horse! Leave! Let's go!
and again I'm holding sort of the front end of the horse. I'm kind of thinking she has a ring, but I guess she doesn't. I guess horses don't have that. But they do have that sort of metal bar under there. Sure. So I'm kind of holding the two pieces of string from underneath that. That's why I'm moving my hand weirdly. And I'm looking up at Percy and say, "Nah, I don't think it's all right that you're the first person to leave. You're supposed to be the town elder. You're supposed to be there helping the people evacuate. How are they getting out? Did you even stop to think about it? You fucking old man." And as he does that, I kind of push Asta up, knowing that hitting her under the chin a little bit will kind of heal her back again, wanting to push him off this time.
Okay, so go ahead and do an animal handling.
So weirdly enough, I'm pretty sure that's one of the skills I have. So that's 11, 12. No, that must have been that was Grinner actually. Was it, what is it, cunning or dexterity?
It would be dexterity.
So
Cunning, sorry.
Cunning? Okay, so plus nothing. So 12.
12. Okay, so again, she buckles up. But this time, he is still able to hold on. Just barely. And you can tell he's getting really afraid.
Right.
He's been afraid this entire time. He's almost catatonic, he's psychotic.
Yeah.
Almost.
Okay, and not wanting to deal with his shit anymore. I literally, so why the fuck did you leave, Percy? And I walk over to the side of him and I push him off the horse.
Okay.
Because he's an old fucking man. And
so you push him off, and he does fall off right away.
Yeah.
And you hear a crack on the ground. But as soon as you push, Asta takes off.
Yeah, I figured.
Off towards Perendale.
Yeah.
And the rain begins to fall.
And I walk
Percy
over.
begins pushing himself off the ground.
Yeah, and I walk over to him in the rain, with the rain sort of dripping down behind me, looking down at him in the mud. And I kind of just say, "You left them, didn't you? You fucking left them all behind, trying to save yourself." And the fire is flicking behind my eyes.
Well, yes. Yes, I did. And how are you any different?
How am I any different? Because I didn't fucking bring him there. I didn't get out to save my skin. I came out, and then I stopped myself. I didn't leave to save my own fucking skin. And as I say it, I kind of stop, and I think. We're not the same, you fucking old man.
I'm glad you ran away. It won't be long before something finds you out here. Blackwater. You and your father are the scourge of the earth.
You want to see the scourge of the earth, you fuck? And I open my hand to open flame. which would be casting the fire bolt. But I don't cast it at him. I just open it, again, almost reactively. And I don't mean to start the fire in my palm. But I hold it back as if I'm going to hit him, except with the magic bolt. And I kind of just flame it up as I'm looking down on him in the rain. What'd you fucking call me?
No! Please. Please, I am but an old man. I had to fear for my life. I wanted to stay alive, and I shouldn't have run. I'm craven, yes, I am craven, but do not kill me now. Please do not do this.
The people of the town, they looked up to you. They fucking idolized you. They listened to your every word. People would give you bread and food when they had none. They turned to you for guidance and religion and spiritual answers. And in the end, you're nothing more than a fucking sack of robes. Killing you out here, it's too good for someone like you. And I don't want to be that guy. That's not the person that I want to be. I'm not going to end up like you. A sad, better old man looking out for only himself. And with that, I close my hand, extinguishing the flame.
Okay.
Good luck. And I begin walking down the road. Again, away from Helton, as I'm sort of struggling with the thoughts as I do. But instead of walking the road, I cut off into the woods.
Okay. You cut off into the woods, leaving poor old Percy in the middle of the street as the rain begins to pound down on the ground around you. Okay. Marin and Sawyer. I'm trying to decide what I want to do next. I think, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. We're going to, we're not going to do the mid-game post yet. We're going to hold off on that. We are going to go back to Helton. So, Eric is continuing to walk towards Parentdale. Marin and Sawyer have rounded up all of the village elders and youngs and are escorting them to Parentdale. Meanwhile, Valette, Hugo Blackwater, and Murdra, as well as some rebels and the rest of the Orlesian guards, have stayed back to hold the Darkspawn at bay. The clouds roll over Helton, painfully slow, and they writhe and turn with power and electricity as lightning crashes down onto the Great Rock. And some stones begin to fall on the outside of the cliff. And as the sun is completely covered, the Darkspawn begin to step out of the cave, slowly, pacing themselves. They step towards the town that looks to be empty, but they know that there are humans here. They can smell them. And then, with the sound of a horn coming from the back, they surge out of the caves. Hundreds at first, then thousands pour into Helton. And as the first few of them enter the town, Valette steps out and slashes the first Genlock's head clean off. As the rest of the rebels and the Orlesians run with a battle cry into the streets, attacking every Darkspawn in sight. Chaos ensues. People are surrounded by these creatures. Arrows are flying in the dark, storm cloud covered sky. And Valette Hugo Blackwater and Murdra Overarch are fighting valiantly. Rebels are falling, or legions as well, but these three are standing up against the Darkspawn and holding them back so that Marin and Sawyer can escape. The first of these valiant fighters to fall. We'll find out. Each of you roll a 3d6. Or sorry,
Oh,
a
no.
d6.
Okay.
The person who gets the highest is going to have their representative character
One. Oh no.
last the longest. So Sawyer, you're going to be with Valette.
Okay.
Sawyer? Sorry, Marin, just one.
That's
Just
3,
one.
Alex.
Sorry.
One
Chris
d6.
and I understood the simple instruction.
Listen,
I
I
said
already had it
3d6
selected.
first. Okay, so after fighting valiantly, the first to go down is Hugo Blackwater.
kinda
Harlan,
sucks.
can you describe
Yeah.
what Hugo does?
I kind of pictured him being like Tom Sizemore in Private Ryan, where he's like getting fucking on, you know, like he's the anti-hero, but the dice had other plans for him. Hugo Blackwater drags the large axe through the mud, the axe he used years ago. It casts deep grooves in the mud as he walks toward the Darkspawn, and with all of his might, he brings it up over his head as a Darkspawn, a smaller one, comes running at him, screaming. He brings it down, slicing the creature in half on an angle. From the right, another one dives out of a hay pile for some reason, and he brings the axe down, chopping through his leg, cutting the knee from the source as the Darkspawn squeals into the raining sky. He brings the axe again one more time up as a large, massive green Darkspawn with horns that protrude out of his skull comes up. He brings it up and swings it down, but the creature sidesteps as the massive axe digs deep into the ground. Hugo, years from using this, his muscles burning, tears in his eyes, swallows hard as he looks up through the pouring rain at the Darkspawn who stands over him, menacing and tall. And with one fell swoop, he brings his sharpened club down on Hugo's head, decapitating him instantly. The last thought in Hugo's mind, the cobalt blue eyes of his wife.
Beautiful. Hugo falls in battle, and Murdra sees this happen, this massive beast, but he's distracted. He's doing his own thing, and Marin. Murdra is the next to fall in battle.
Oh, I knew it. I'm never gonna see that guy again.
So how does it happen? Describe. He fights very valiantly.
Yes, so Murdra, with his other rebel fighters, they gather at the side of a building, all crouched like soldiers in a World War II or something, you know, crouched at the side of the building with their swords at the ready. As the Darkspawn come down out of the cave, they fight without fear, ferociously, slaughtering one after another in a team, as a group, 1, 2, 3, 4. As they go, suddenly his buddy Jarkra falls down, killed. There's 3 of them. Then his other friend Etho, he goes down after a few more deaths of the Darkspawn. Then it's just him and his best mate Arsto, and him and Arsto continue to fight until Arsto gets knocked in the head and goes down, and Merger faces this tall, burly Darkspawn, and the Darkspawn growls at him, and he screams back in the Darkspawn's face, and they clash weapons, and before long, Murdra believes that he's going to take the fight, and as he comes down onto the Darkspawn. The Darkspawn comes up into him with his heavy blade, and his mouth and eyes begin to trickle blood as he falls dead.
All right. And as he falls into the mud, not far away, Valette fights using her special Orlesian techniques that she might have trained the others with if they'd let her. She fights. Chris, she is the last fighter. How does she fall in battle?
Valette does everything in her power to keep herself between the Darkspawn and the remaining villagers. And she keeps regrouping her forces, but one by one, the men and women around her are falling. And she battles on, fighting, killing endless amounts of these hordes of creatures. And there to her right, she sees a man kneeling in the mud, drenched in rain, holding another man and weeping. People of the village would recognize it to be the tanner, and weeping over his husband, and he's sitting there crying as the last person in his life is gone. And she looks up and sees a Darkspawn knocking an arrow, pulling it back to its full weight. And she runs. And almost as if in slow motion, the rain slows. And she pushes herself forward. She feels the weight of her armor. And she slips in the mud and just manages to get her hand in the way of the arrow as it penetrates from front to back. She drops her weapon and grabs her wrist in pain. And the Darkspawn notices that his quarry was not met because of this wretched woman. And he nocks another arrow and fires it into her thigh. Valette screams in agony at the beast, more of anger than in pain. But she can't quite keep her feet. And she falls. And everything becomes kind of still and quiet as the creature stands over her and grabs a buckle on the shoulder plate and starts dragging her through the mud towards the cave. The last thing she sees before the darkness closes is this lightning bolt that runs across the sky, rain on her face, cooling, comforting, and then darkness takes her.
Okay. The Darkspawn flood into Helton. They burn the houses with torches that they light. Oil that they've gathered from the depths below, they spill along the village, burning everything within. Those who decided that they wanted to stay and hide in the town rather than leave, you can hear their screams as the Darkspawn burn them alive. And they continue. Thousands, tens of thousands pouring out of this cave and into Navarra. Sawyer and Marin, you push through the rain. Your carts are slowed down a bit by the mud, but every now and then you do have to push them out. But you've been lucky so far that they haven't gotten significantly stuck. A couple hours have passed since the clouds have taken over the area, and a cold chill runs through your spine as you feel that there's no chance. You feel that the Darkspawn have already met the friends that you left behind in town. What's going through your mind, Marin?
I'm concerned about the folks in the back of the wagon. That I'm trying to keep their spirits high. I've got Morley between myself and Sawyer on the front of the wagon. It's kind of how I picture it. And I'm trying to keep Morley's hopes high, all while thinking about Murderer back at town. Knowing in my heart that he's probably fine.
And Sawyer, you see Marin looking back to town and the back of the cart and then back to town.
How are the kids back there? I call back to Marin. Marin, are they okay?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. And I look back, and I don't know. What do they see?
So I take the reins and I hand them the reins and I hop back into the cart over the kind of where we sit.
Okay.
And I go and I look at the kids and I say, "We're gonna get there. There's nothing to be afraid of. We're safe now." Now, any of these kids, did they lose their family already, or is it just they're kind of village orphans and that type of thing?
No, some of them lost their family. Like some of them, their parents would have stayed back in town to fight, or at least the father or the mother, depending. And yeah, some of them are orphans too. And they nod at you, and they look very afraid, and they keep on wiping the water out of their eyes as Morley looks up and says, "What about Ewick? Maybe Ewick could help us. Maybe Ewick could help the town."
And I look over to Morley and I kind of shake my head and I say, Eric's not here with us right now. Where is Eric, by the way? And I kind of, I don't holler, but I say it loud enough for Sawyer to hear me. Where is Eric?
He left. He's not who he said he was.
What do you mean he's not who he said he was? Are you coming back up here?
I climb back to the front seat, making sure my mom's okay as I go by and taking kind of one of my cloaks off and I cover her to keep her warm as I see she's shivering. I sit beside Marin and I say, "He's a mage. He's tainted, remember? He left the town. There's no place for him there anymore. We couldn't have him there. He's the reason my mom is sick. He lied to us, Marin. The whole time he knew he was a mage. He never told us. We were like family, and he wouldn't even tell us."
But that's not the same as lying, Sawyer. Not telling us is not the same as lying. That's like...
Marin,
I hear what you're saying, but I don't know, but I don't think Eric is the reason why your mother's sick. Eric is our friend.
you've heard all those stories about magic and what it can do to people.
But you've known Eric.
I've tried
You've known
everything
Eric
with
as
him.
long as I've known Eric.
I know, we both knew Eric, and yet he wouldn't even tell us this.
Well,
Like,
maybe
we
he
were
was...
like brothers.
Maybe he was afraid to tell us for how we'd react. Look at the way you're talking about him now.
Well, then where is he now?
I don't know. You said he left.
Whoa! You hear someone in the front leading horse. He's calling out, and you look ahead, and you see him step off of his horse and limp forward.
Oh, shit.
And you can hear someone, "Help me! Help me! Help me!" The voice of Percy, muffled by the rainfall.
With my
Sorry,
hand on my...
We see Percy?
Percy is sitting on the ground. You see the man in front. His name's, we'll say, yeah. It doesn't matter. The guy limping helps him up, and begins walking him back.
Who's the man limping? Just some person on the
Yeah,
road?
just another person from town who is injured.
Why are you guys out here? Get on the cart. And I hop out to help Percy into the cart. Percy, where were you going? Why did you leave town? I look at the man who's there.
Very afraid. No, the man who's there. Sorry, I thought that there was someone else who would have come with you.
Ah,
Would have taken another
Oh.
horse, and he was like leading with you guys. So he helps Percy. He's like, I don't know why he's here. He was just sitting on the road. He's drenched. Let's get him a blanket.
I help
Yeah,
Percy
for
to the back
sure.
of the cart.
I went back to warn Parendale.
That's where we're headed now. We gotta get the kids to safety.
I was wondering about that myself, Percy. Why didn't you tell anybody? You just took off. Everybody thought you left because you were running away.
No, I was trying to warn Parendale of the Darkspawn, yes. And it was... My horse is gone. It was that Blackwater boy. He stole the horse.
Blackwater?
He stole him, yes.
You saw Eric?
Say his name so loudly. He may be nearby.
Eric stole your horse? They left you here.
He's
And I
evil.
look at Marin in the eye, as if like, doesn't this seem?
Told ya.
No, it's more like that's horrible.
Yeah. In my own mind, I'm just kind of shocked. But I also, I'm not gonna believe it until I see it. I mean, if I don't see Eric being evil, I can't believe that he's evil after the time that we spent together. So, to hear this, it makes me ponder, but it also just makes me wonder what the hell's going on.
Percy, when was this? Did this just happen?
Not long ago, maybe 2, maybe 1 hour ago, I've been trying to get myself up off the ground, but my upper left leg has been trying to tell me something.
Eric, are you out there?
And I stand up on the top of the thing and yell, Eric!
Your voices don't seem to go very far.
I'd be pretty far at this point anyway.
Yeah,
I have to assume.
he's pretty far away.
Well, wherever he is, he's left you to die, Percy. We gotta keep moving on.
Yeah, I hurriedly jump off the cart and I go to the back and I help Percy and I kind of lift him onto the cart to lie down beside Mrs. Almeric.
All right. And as you put him down, his eyes go wide. And he reaches up and he points. And the kids begin screaming in the back. No! Marin, you turn around in time to see a dark spawn.
Oh, jeez.
It looks quick and nimble, panting. It's holding a bow in one hand, an arrow in another. Maybe only 20 yards away, he holds up the bow and the arrow as you see another, Genlock is what they're called, step up behind him, and then another through the mist and the rain.
Oh, jeez.
Meanwhile, Eric Blackwater, you've been troubled. Your thoughts have been very loud as you've been making your way through the forest.
It feels like with magic in my mind, it's the fire behind my eyes is coursing through my brain as well, saying words that, like a conscience, it's a constant stream of consciousness. I'm trying to ignore it as much as I can, but it's getting louder with each step.
And you stop in a small clearing in the middle of the woods. Again, you feel very alone. And I want you to tell me what the two things that you're battling with are: moving forward or going back. And what are the compelling reasons for you to go forward? What are the compelling reasons for you to leave Helton, to leave your friends, all of them, and to start a new life?
Growing up in Helton with my dad was not easy. When he drank too much, he'd beat me raw. I never said as much to my friends, but they knew. I'd show up with a black eye or a broken arm when I was younger. Between us, I trusted them with almost anything. But knowing what magic is and how it was so feared in the land, I was afraid to tell them the feeling inside me. It's a feeling I didn't even know had a name itself. Because of them, I honestly believe that I survived. Having their friendship saved me from beating my old man or hitting him back to the point where he would have killed me or left me out in the woods. Because of that, I think of the words that crazy old men said each other. And that's what's behind me, but before me is away from all that. It's leaving it behind. Starting something new, something maybe where people understand me. Being a circle mage or an apostate or whatever, understanding this magic that courses through me, understanding this world that I clearly have such a strong connection to. It's such a world of possibility and power. I can do good, real good, save other children from being beaten like I was, be there for people, be there for how I wished my friends were there for me. And as the voice in my head grows louder and louder, I stop, because I find it hard to continue going forward, and I find it tough to go back. In front of me is future, behind me is together.
Mm-hmm. So, you can either go forward, away from it all, alone, or you can go back to your friends. And before we find out what you decide, we're gonna go to the mid-game poll.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the mid-game post. That's the part of the game where we head over to the Facebook group. I'm going to make a post right there with the mid-game post question. Justin is going to tell us what that question is. Now, I want you to first, Justin, tell us whether this is going to be an easy question, a mid-range question, or a difficult question.
I am going to say that this will be a difficult question.
Okay, so this is going to be a difficult question. That means you want to be one of the first 6 people to answer this. So it's not as time dependent as previously, where you had to be the first one, but you want to be the first 6. So head over to the Facebook group right now and start hitting that F5 key, which is refresh. So we now know the difficulty setting. Justin, what is the question?
What is the name of the specific type of darkspawn that jumped out of the shadow of the cave at the beginning and then jumped back in? What was the specific name, the type of darkspawn?
It's a long question. And then back in. Okay, what is the name?
Oh, you're trying to type that.
What is the name of the specific type of darkspawn that jumped out of the shadow of the cave and then... Wait, did I say the same thing twice? That jumped out of the shadow of the cave and then back in. There we go. For some reason I wrote the exact same thing twice. And then back in.
Same creature.
Yeah, apparently.
It jumped out and jumped back.
Yeah, what is the name of the specific creature? All right, so I'm going to pose this question in about 5 seconds. Remember, you want to be one of the first 6. Being one of the first 6 doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but we're going to roll a d6 to determine who of that 6 wins the mid-game post. And I am putting it up right now. Posted. Posted. All right. Good game so far, Justin. Jeez, intense.
Thank you. Yeah. Built up.
I do want to say that the Discord chat is working really, really well. So thank you guys for heading over to Discord. If you're not on Discord right now, go head there now, because I really like the way that the chat is. It's got the benefit of the YouTube stream sort of just running, but it's got the availability of options and all that kind of stuff to make it really, really cool. So what's sorry, Justin, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask Chris and Alex what about the chat. Are you following the chat so far? A lot of people.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching the chat. It's fun for sure.
The chat.
You got to meet the narwhal, the new Pip, or whatever his name is. Very cute.
What are you talking about?
See, you weren't paying attention.
I thought did you not
Oh,
just say
Discord app. Just in the Discord app.
Yeah, I am. What pup?
Pip. He's a narwhal.
Then when
You
the
don't know,
narwhal
man.
bacons.
You
Oh,
don't
I saw
know.
that picture. That was very cute. Michael Weber, I think, posted that.
Oh, that was way up. Yeah, something.
Okay, so we have a bunch of answers here. What's the answer, Justin?
The answer is it was a Genlock.
A Genlock. So that's Genlock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody know?
So, well, we got like Gemlock. We got Genlock spelt different. We got Grimlock.
Those are all pretty close.
Okay, so let's just do this. Anything within the Gemlock, Genlock, Grinlock range we'll accept. Is that fair?
There are some Genlock ones. That could incite some rebellion. Maybe we should keep it just if you got it right. Genlock. Because there's about 5 or 6 of them, I think.
Yeah, but then it's like not bike lock. I'm just gonna give it. Okay, so Zia, I'm gonna say Gemlock. That's fair. Genlock, Michael gave. That's fair. John gave Gemlock, which is fair. Tim gave Gymlock, which is fair.
All right, so anything goes.
And Ringame Genlock. No, but I'm saying they're in the same sort of vein, because then otherwise you got to count down like for the whole thing. And you know what? It's not like we put it this way. If we put the name on screen, it's different, right? But they're going from just what he said. They could have heard him wrong. That's not really
From
fair.
a man who cannot spell.
Nope. They should know.
And I can't spell. I agree. You're right.
Yeah,
Sucks
well,
to not
I'm
be able
saying
to
we
spell.
shouldn't punish people for not being able to hear the exact word. So,
True.
Okay. So we got Zia, Mycl, John, Tim, Rin, and the next person after Rin to get it correct was, I'm going to say, Venus said Gerlock. That's pretty far off, but I'm going to give it. So there we go. There's 6. So there's our 6. Zia, Mycl, John, Tim, Rin, and Venus. Let us roll the 1d6 over here. I forget. And to see who of those 6 people is going to win. Drum roll me. Number 6. That's Venus. So here you go. Venus, you won the mid-game post. Well done. For you were one of the first 6 people to answer that question correctly, and we rolled a random d6, and there we go. Zia, Mycl, John, Tim, Rin, Zena. Yeah, he was 4, Alex.
Venus. Yeah.
Zia Abram, Mycl Weber, John Regan, Tim Tabor, Rin Regan, and Venus were the first 6.
Right.
Okay.
And we rolled a 6.
Well,
Way
it's
to go,
easier
Venus.
answering you out loud than trying to type it all out. He said, most ardently. So there you go. There's the mid-game post. Hope everyone is having a good time. Who guessed terrorist? Highwell Blake.
Oh god.
Highwell Blake. Yeah, I don't think Highwell. I don't think you've commented on anything, or you changed your name, because I do not recognize you. How long have you been with the group, buddy? How long you been with the group? I asked. Everyone, just stop. Okay, this is the most important thing. Okay.
And do you get Highwell?
So, Alex or Sawyer, what are you thinking right now in the game? What's Sawyer's point of view? It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
We are on opposite sides of the field again.
Yeah, I think I mean, Sawyer still feels he doesn't know how to feel, right? He feels like his ignorance feels that there's magic and we got to be afraid of magic. He has kind of that fear in him that Percy kind of has toxified the town with. And I guess Sawyer has been brought up within that town, and so part of it's leached into him. But he's starting to kind of question it, especially with Marin not being fully on board with that. He's also like, well, if Marin doesn't feel Eric is wrong, maybe I jumped the gun on this one. Maybe I was looking for someone to blame.
And I guess Marin, with that point of view, brought up in the society where mages are all bad. And, magic is all bad. And then, for me to hear that one of my best friends, who's never been anywhere remotely bad to me, is all of a sudden a mage, very confusing. So what trumps that confusion? The friend, in my mind. That trumps the scary mage.
Well, it all depends on what spectrum of evil is magic considered. Did someone just tell me that they're a neo-Nazi who kills puppies? Then maybe, or is evil more I don't believe in the Easter Bunny.
Whoa. The Easter Bunny?
One. That's the worst one, obviously.
Are you saying the East? Hold on, I'm so confused. Are you saying the Easter Bunny is not real?
I know he's not real because
whoa.
Santa told me.
This is 18 plus, right?
Listen,
guys. Santa told me he's not real, so I believe Santa that.
This doesn't make any sense because I woke up Easter morning and there were tiny little pellets all over my house. They didn't taste like chocolate.
You have the rats. They were rats.
Well, maybe. Okay.
Look, all I'm saying is that maybe we should do this in the game.
Yeah, talk about Easter and all that stuff. Sorry, I just needed to get through a little bit of personal conflict, but now we're ready. All right, without further ado,
adieu
to you and you and you. We're going back to Dragon Age Heroes, Part 4.
The rain pours down onto the wagon and carts. And there's a moment of stillness as you stare into the eyes of this Genlock that is slowly raising its bow towards you. Roll for initiative.
Rolling for initiative.
Rolly.
Boom!
You guys have to protect the cart.
8.
Protect the cat!
I got a 10, Justin, total. Add your dexterity, Alex.
Right.
Okay, reset.
9.
9. Okay. So, first thing that happens, he gets before you're able to attack, he gets the bow up and fires the arrow at you. And let's see if it hits you. It does hit.
Who
Marin.
had the first roll there? The
Darkspawn.
Darkspawn. And he hits me?
He hits you, yes.
Oh lord. With an arrow?
With an arrow.
I'm only a 17-year-old weakling. Alrighty, but I have
Okay.
armor on. Just light
Yep.
leather armor.
And so, by the way, you guys got, what was it, a 10 and an 8?
Are we healed from last week?
Yes. I will say you've healed.
That's nice of you.
Oh, how close were you to death?
No, I wasn't close to death. I'm
No.
just like, nothing that's, no reasonable thing should happen that I've healed.
Well, you
But
saw
I,
it.
I will accept it. No, I think I was attacked since,
Okay.
I don't know how I got hit.
I think you did sleep.
Oh, we were
because
fighting in the
you guys
woods, the
got
wolves.
back-
No, it was the wolves, right?
You fought the wolves, yeah, and then you got back, and you had a night to sleep, and then you had like the afternoon.
No,
Marin,
I
slept.
blamed Eric right away.
Yeah, you did blame Eric,
Always blaming
but then he was
others.
walking through the night.
But Eric also slept.
Alright, cool. Well, I'm healed up. I'll take it. No more arguing.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm hit. So what do I do here? So I've got 11 defense, 1 armor.
So you're gonna take 4 points of damage as the arrow hits your shoulder and breaks out the other side, and just doesn't go right through. It just kind of glazes the side of you.
Grazes the side. So it doesn't go through my arm, it just grazes my skin.
Yeah, it does take
That's-
off your armor though. Take off like whatever you have for armor.
Yeah?
So then you
It
minus
does
that
4
from-
points. I
minus
have 1 armor. It does 3
Yeah.
points of damage.
Yeah. And blood begins to trickle down your arm with the rain. Who rolled better? Marin or...
I did by 1 point.
Okay. So Sawyer, what do you do?
I realized that now the creature... I was helping Percy into the cart, so I'm actually pretty close to the creature, I imagine.
The other Genlocks are running forward. They've run past this one.
So then I quickly grab my sword and shield from on the back of the cart, and I turn to face them. And the closest one that gets to me, I swing it.
Perfect.
And I roll. I'm gonna roll fantastically. I can feel it. Here it comes.
All right.
Here it is.
Yeah.
No, I was wrong.
Oh no.
5. So 7. Not a
Okay.
very good roll.
Your sword and shield are wet, and you struggle to maintain your grip. And as you swing, you feel like you're going to lose grip, so you pull your blow before it's able to connect. Marin, you see Sawyer's jumped into the fight. What do you do?
I also jump into the fight. I haven't got a bow and arrow, so I'm sword in hand. So I unsheath my sword, and
Yeah.
how far are they away are they from us?
Two of them have run forward towards you guys.
Okay, so before I jump off the wagon, I say to Morley, I mean, it's got 2 horses or 1 horse?
2 horses on the wagon.
Okay, you know what? It's not going to move too quick. So I say to Morley, take the reins, you'll do fine. And I jump off and I smack the horse's ass and get them moving. And then I run back towards, and I just charge at one of the dark spawn. You know, there's so much fear and adrenaline coursing through my veins. I feel like this is gonna help me.
Hey, perfect. So go ahead and roll. See if you're able to knock it.
9, 10, 11. And what am I using here? Dexterity or strength?
It would be strength.
So, and I have jumping. So can I use that? Sort of a jumping attack?
Yep. Well,
So-
it won't be like an extra bonus, but it'll be cinematic.
So 14.
Okay. 14 is a hit.
Excellent. And then with my short sword, I do 1d6 plus 2 damage,
Perfect.
which is 5 damage.
5 points of damage. Okay, so your sword connects with the Genlock, and it growls and snarls and then licks the blood from its shoulder, its tongue long, and it looks over your shoulder at the cart of passengers rolling away, and you can see hunger in his eyes.
Well, perfect. A distraction.
He goes to swing at you again, or for the first time. So they are attacking once more. You two have stayed back to fight. Everybody else is moving forward. It's just the two of you fighting these 3 darkspawn. So, Sawyer, what is your defense?
It's pretty high. Not so high. 13.
13. Okay. So this darkspawn has a jagged-looking axe that is just kind of bent and ripped together. It has more rust on it that you're worried about it being sharp. And it swings at you and does not actually hit. You manage to block it with your shield. And it kind of goes into the mud as he comes back up and snarls at you. The second one, the one fighting Marin.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
This one hits.
Ah,
And you are knocked onto the ground as this Genlock punches you. It punches you in the face, and you go staggering back, and you trip in the mud, and you fall on your ass. And you take 3 points of damage minus your armor.
so
2 points of damage.
Okay.
And the one with arrow shoots at you, Sawyer.
Okay.
How
I'm
many
gonna try not to be
Gamlocks
hit.
are there?
There are 3.
3. Shit.
Yeah.
3 grown Genlocks on 2 young men.
All right, and this one hits. And you take 4 points of damage.
So my army actually neglects it, but I think the arrows work differently with armor.
What kind of armor are you using with the
I believe last time.
or Legion armor, right?
Yep. So I had originally armor that was like I think it was 3 points of armor, and then I got the Legion armor.
Okay, so okay, it's like scale armor.
I don't know. It's up to you. I think you said I had a choice between a sword that was +1 or armor which was +3 or something like that. I don't remember.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? We will say that it is enough to deflect it then.
Okay.
So the arrow hits your armor and breaks.
Splinters. Nice.
Splinters.
Excellent job.
And now we're back to Sawyer.
Okay, so this time I don't think you can aim or anything. I'm gonna do an all-out attack. I'm assuming that's still a thing.
Yep.
An all-out attack?
Yeah, so it'll make me vulnerable, I think, for my next round.
Yep.
But I'm going to put more into it. So I got a dragon die, and I got a total of 14 to hit.
Okay, it hits.
My dragon die is a 5, So stunt-wise, I want to do a mighty blow. I want to pierce armor, and I'm gonna skirmish. So I'm actually gonna move myself 2 yards away after. So I'm gonna, after I block the axe, I could see his neck was exposed. So I jab my blade into his throat and kick him at the chest to push him away to make some distance. So I add 1d6 damage, and the armor is halved.
Okay.
Shift it back. So you see here. So 8. It does 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. Wow, nice. And the armor is halved?
Yep.
Okay. This is the one that attacked you, right?
Yep.
Okay. And just in terms of damage, what have you guys done so far?
I think that's the first time I've landed a blow.
Okay. And did you land one last time, Marin?
I sure did. How
Yeah.
much damage I did?
Oh yeah, you snarled at you, right?
Was 5. Was 5.
Okay. Perfect. So it looks like when you hit him, you did actually get his armor. You did manage to get through the skin there, or
Excellent.
to the skin, Marin. But it looks like the armor took a lot of it. And as they... Oh, Marin, it's your turn now.
Okay. So I'm sitting on the ground. I'm gonna pull one out of the book here from Me, Myself, and Irene, because I just watched it the other night. Gonna grab some mud off the ground and throw it into the Genlock's face, hopefully causing a bit of a, if it lands, a distraction, and then it'll give me a chance to attack and inflict more damage. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So can I do a roll for the throwing of the mud, or is this just an overall attack?
It will be an attack. Yeah.
Okay. 6, 5, 2, 11, 12, 13, and with strength 14, 15, 16.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. So 16 I hit, and damage I do. Oh jeez. Oh no, shit, sorry. 1d6 plus 2. Oh, I rolled a 5 and a 6, and then I had to re-roll them. 1 plus 2, so 3 damage. So I get the mud in his face.
1 plus 2 plus 3. So that was for the attack, sorry?
Yeah, the attack was like 16, so it hit.
Yeah, okay.
The damage was 3.
Yeah, okay, so you do get the mud in his face, and you were just trying to distract it and make it hard to see, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it reaches up as the mud smacks into his face, and he tries to get it out of his eyes, and he's blinking. Because they do just have regular eyes like you and I, mud is definitely going to make it difficult for them. But as you do that, you hear the one in the back growl. And the one that Sawyer has hit as well, he grunts, angry that he's been hit. And you see his muscles almost bulk up. And he steps back and swings at Sawyer and doesn't pull back at all. He puts all of his might behind this. And remember that you got a minus for whatever your...
No, I was wondering if I could neglect that because I skirmished and put him further back.
It would have cost a... Oh yeah, you did.
I wonder if I could just neglect
Did you drop him down?
I skirmished him. I don't know if that... He pushes him back 2 yards.
Yeah. So he runs towards you.
Okay.
He runs towards you and he throws a punch at you. tries to knock you right to the ground. Throw. Okay, and this time he hits. And you are going to take 6 points of damage. Minus your armor. So his fist connects with your face. And the second one, the one that's on the ground in front of you, Marin, is trying to get the mud out of his eyes, so he's distracted. But the third one knocks another arrow and aims again at Sawyer.
How are my reflexes? I mean, I should be asking you that. My reflexes are based on what? Dexterity?
Dexterity, or your defense. Why? What are you trying to do?
Maybe if I could catch this arrow midair and knock it down
No.
without hitting. No.
It's okay though, because this arrow manages to fly over Sawyer. It does not connect.
Perfect.
But as the arrow flies over him, Sawyer, you look up to see 2 more darkspawn stepping
Jesus.
towards you guys.
And my arms kind of hang heavy at my side, going, we're not going to win this. And I realize, and I think back to seeing the hundreds of them pooling out of the cave, or at least knowing that they were there. I looked at Marin and I said, Marin, we're not going to win this fight. We got to push. We got to run.
I look back at Sawyer and I say, I wish Eric were here.
Okay. So, it's your turn, Sawyer.
Okay, so I will. The closest one to me, I'm sure I would be taking a attack of opportunity, right? If I move away.
This one looks like he's pretty much right on top of you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try in the mud to trip him up, see if I can get him to go prone.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna try to move away. $13.
13 is enough.
All right, so I just take out his knee, kind of like kick it, and hopefully sliding his feet up from under him. And in the opportunity that I see now that he's prone, I try to start falling back.
Okay.
And I put my sword away and my shield away and pull my bow out as I'm running.
Okay. Perfect. So you begin running away. Marin is left with the. You're on the ground, right, Marin? Or you kicked the dirt up, but did you get up?
Yeah, I'm up now, and I follow Sawyer's lead. There was really no question. I mean, we're not going to win this fight. There's 5 of them and 2 of us, and we've barely scratched the surface of the 2. So,
right,
or of the 3 that were originally there. So I'm running as well with Sawyer, and hopefully we can catch up with the cart, and hopefully we can.
No problem. Because about 30 yards down the road, the cart is stuck in the mud.
Oh, fuck.
The wheels have dug in completely. Morley has run it over just maybe a little too far over to the right. And the wheel is pretty much in the trench, and it'll take all of your might to get it out. And you turn around to see all of the darkspawn moving towards you.
Okay, so, I holler to Sawyer and everybody else in the car. Anybody couldn't help get out, and let's push this cart out.
Okay. So, people begin jumping out as the darkspawn continue their advance. Sawyer, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try to. So it's just stuck in the mud. Is that right? So, is that right, Justin? So if we get some traction, it should be able to. Well, traction doesn't work. Is that? Well,
yeah. If you can get it out of the mud, then the horses might just need a little bit more.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to encourage the
Darkspawn are
horses.
getting
So I'm
close.
gonna try to get them going. Like I'm hitting the horses, trying to get them to go. And I'm looking back, and I see a dark spawn, so I'm gonna fire an arrow back as I'm doing it.
Perfect.
All right. Roll. All right. 11.
Yep. That hits.
All right, an 11 short bow does 1d6 plus 1. Minus 1. I don't know what that means, but I guess it's plus 1 minus 1, which would counteract, so it must be just plus 1. Doesn't make sense. 3 points of damage.
3 points of damage. So it sticks into the armor of one of these gunlocks, and he keeps moving forward without flinching. His tongue whipping out, sharp teeth.
We gotta get these horses moving. I smack the horses harder still.
Okay.
I yell to Sawyer at the back to, you're stronger, you lift, I'll get the horses going. And I yell to Morley, Morley, get down, everybody off the cart who can get off.
Okay, so people are getting off. Sawyer's mom stays on, and as they get off, the Darkspawn are getting closer, and you see one in the back is raising an arrow, and it fires into the fray of people.
Jesus.
Who does it hit?
Morley.
Good question. You fucker. I knew you were gonna say
Do it.
All right.
Percy.
Kill them all.
So, Morley's small. So if I roll a 1, it hits Morley. If I roll a 2,
my son cries
it's
downstairs
going
as
to
you say
hit
that.
Sawyer's mom. If it hits a 3 or a 4, it hits Marin. 5 or
Look at all those random rabble
Sawyer.
children. Can we have them get hit?
They
It
aren't
has to be
important.
like
You
a
usually hate your mother, Chris.
5
I
or
mean-
6 in Sawyer. Here we go.
Come on, 1.
2. So, the arrow fires and it sounds like it hits the cart. Boom. And Sawyer, you turn, you saw the arrow fly, and you look, and it doesn't look, at first, like it has hit anything. It looks like it just hit the cart. But then you see a pool of red begin to spill onto the blanket that's covering your mother.
No. And I drop my arrow and I jump in the cart. And I pull the blanket away to see what's happening.
It's hit her in the gut. And her eyes are open.
No.
It's a gape.
Get us out of here, Marin. I'm calling to him. And I'm trying to stop the bleeding, and I'm putting the cloth. I'm saying, Mom, no.
And
And as
As-
that's happening, Marin.
And as Sawyer hollers at me, I again crack the whip. And I say, get here! Get here! Everybody in the
Okay,
back, push, lift.
All right, so go ahead and
The horse
do
should
an
be able
animal
to.
handling.
It's like 2 horsepower. I don't have animal handling.
You don't have animal. Okay, so go ahead. Roll your cutting. Roll your cunning. Actually, I think it's communication. It's animal handling is communication.
Okay. It's a 10.
It's a 10. Not enough. The cart is trying to inch forward, and the man with the limp turns around and cries out as an axe hits him in the neck, and he slides to the ground as the gunlock came upon the cart.
I jump down off the cart, off the front, and I holler for Morley. Morley!
You see Morley on the other side of the road. He's shaking and looking around, kind of wandering aimlessly. and a Genlock jumps right in between the two of you.
Oh shit!
back
Now it's
to-
on. Motherfucker.
And you are still holding onto the reins as you see the Genlock step up to Morley, get close, and Morley's not even doing anything really. He turns his head and he sees this Genlock, and you can't really make out what's happening, but you see him reach into his back and pull out his wooden sword, and you can just barely make out it's shaking as the Genlock raises its axe with one hand and casually begins to swing it. And he stops and staggers. And he steps forward again to try to swing it again, and he stops again. And even the Genlocks have stopped, and they've turned to look at this one Genlock as it shakes and convulses in the street. And then you see the top of its head begin to bubble strangely in the rain, and everything seems to stop as you see his head erupt in flames, and the rest of his body erupts in flames, not being doused at all by the rains. He staggers around, covered in flame, and eventually collapses into the mud.
And I walk out from the bushes with the sparks still licking from my fingertips as I kind of follow the creature down into the mud, burning him, his bones turning to ash before me. And I turn to the others and I say, that's not me. That's not a selfish term. And I turn to the others and I say, get behind the cart. And I turn to the Genlocks and I want to cast flaming weapons on their weapons. Because I think with the brightness that I've read about darkspawns, it may be enough to scare a few of them away. Is there sound logic for that to work in any sense of the word?
There is sound logic, I guess, in the sense that most things that you have encountered are afraid of magic and things happening that are unexpected. They've got torches down there, they've got torches to light the village, but you wouldn't know that. So,
Yeah.
but, you know, from a meta standpoint, it could work that they could help. That it could startle at least a few of them.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, because there's so many of them now, I'm trying to think sort of outside the box. So I'm going to cast Flame Weapon on them, which could get back really poorly if they just have flaming swords.
Thanks. See, I told you Eric is one of them.
Exactly. Well, can I roll something? Put it this way. I don't want to do this and then be totally fucked. Can I roll maybe a knowledge to see if this would benefit me at least?
I will let you roll communication intimidation
Okay.
for it.
To see if it see if it would be beneficial?
To see if they're actually scared by it.
Okay, so after I cast it, I can intimidate.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that. So then first off, to cast it, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's good. Yeah, that's good. I needed a target number of 15, and my magic is 3, so I literally just made it. And yeah, that's to do it, and then it just makes all their
Perfect. Yep.
weapons swing.
Then you're good. So there are weapons. Anyone who's holding a weapon. There's only 2 of them that are holding axes now.
Yeah.
And they erupt in flames, and they're all staring at you wide-eyed, mouth tense, and they dart their eyes down to the flames, and let's see if you do your communication roll.
All right,
You're
come
able
on.
to-
This one's for all the beans. Hey, 14,
Hey.
17.
Okay, and that is not technically an attack. But
No, it's not to do damage. I just honestly is trying to intimidate them. So I'm hoping that the ones holding the weapons, as well as the other ones with the weapons, either it can be light based or it can just be the fact that I put their weapons to fire that scare them. But
Okay, perfect. Well, the the two holding the axes, these are the ones that just came in last. They look at their axes and they drop them. And they turn around and begin hobbling off back towards Helton. As the last standing Genlock, the one with the bow and arrow, snarls, and he pulls another arrow out, and he fires at you, Eric. And as this is happening, Sawyer, what do you do?
I try to stop my mom's stomach from bleeding, and I look at the horses, and Morley was killed?
No, Morley was saved by
Eric. Okay, because its head bubbled and burnt up.
I cast the
Genlock's,
flame
not Morley's.
inside
Not Morley's head.
Genlock's head. Yeah.
All right. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna reach down over the side of the cart, because Morley is standing down now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna reach up and put him on the horse in the front, and then I'm gonna cut the ropes, because I see more of these things. Like, are there a lot of
No. Okay, so what has happened is Morley was about to be attacked by a dark spawn.
Right, and then his head burnt away.
And then he bubbled away, and then Eric stepped out. And what did you say again, Eric? You had to
I didn't say anything actually,
get
but
behind the cart? No?
Oh, I said get behind the cart. You're right. Yeah, I turned to everyone and I yelled get behind the cart as I sort of was casting flames.
And you cast the flames on two of the Genlocks, and the Genlocks dropped their weapons and ran back towards Helton. So now there's only one Genlock left, the one with the arrow. It's just raised its bow to fire at Eric.
And then I think I would be completely consumed with the fact that my mom is bleeding out. And I'm gonna just try to do what I can to heal her.
Okay, so go ahead and do a healing roll. That's going to be your cunning. And it's a TN of 11 that you're trying to beat.
Okay, so there's 9, and my cunning is 10. That's sad.
So the blood continues to spread across.
I'm like, what do I do, Mom? What do I do? I'm trying my best.
And she doesn't talk back. All she does is look into your eyes as you continue to pat around the arrow. The arrow that shot towards Eric. What is your defense, Eric?
11.
Okay, it actually misses. It's close, but it does miss. And Marin, you see all of this as well. What do you do?
I'm. What I like. So where am I? Where would I be standing? I think I'd.
Where are you standing? Yeah, you tell me.
Well, before Eric came out of the woods and started, putting everybody into flames, I was standing across the road from Morley, who was about to be attacked by this Genlock.
Yeah.
Genlock. So when Eric came out, I think I wouldn't have just stood there. Okay, so I would have taken Morley away from this situation. And
so
take him to the
you
back.
get out. So you get out of the cart and you run towards Morley.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I was already off the cart, and now I was standing across the street from Morley. Eric came out and blew the guy's head up, and then I call for Morley, and Morley comes to me, and then we go and stand behind the cart. So now
you
at this
follow
point,
Eric's orders, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and then at this point,
Okay, so I toss Morley up on top of the. No, I don't. I say, this is what I was gonna do before. I say to Morley, okay, and I pass him the reins of the horse,
yeah.
and I say, slowly lead the horse that way, and I point towards where we're headed to, and I in order to try and get some movement of the horses forward. Okay.
Okay, and
Secondly,
he nods.
yeah. Yeah, and then I move towards this Genlock who's shooting an arrow at Eric.
Shot
Because-
an arrow. It's knocking another one now.
Yeah, I'm really excited that Eric's back. I'm really excited that all of a sudden, you know, we're now facing only one Genlock, and I pull my short sword out, and I run charging the Genlock. Obviously not right in line of where the arrow is, but
Yeah. Okay, so you charge
As best
towards
I
the
can.
Genlock, and you swing at him.
with a 10, 11, 14, 15.
A 15. Okay. That definitely hits. So go ahead and roll for that. Roll for damage.
Oh, fuck, these low rolls on damage. 2 plus 4, so 4. 4 damage.
Okay.
I feel like, hey-ya!
So you get a good hit in. Describe what you do.
A
Doesn't
good
topple
hit?
or anything like that, but it's a good hit. Good solid.
Okay. So I suppose as I come at the Genlock and I jump and attack him, I catch him right in the corner of the neck here,
Mhm.
and the tip of my blade cuts his neck. Not any major artery, but enough to start blood flowing, and I cut through his armor on the front, his leather armor, piercing and leaving a slight cut all through his chest, causing not any major arteries or bones or but
But
blood.
the blood begins to pool out.
Yeah,
pour
and his
down the
armor
body.
is now open and it's
And
flopping.
instantly he picks up one leg and kicks you with heavy iron boots, or tries to at least.
Oh jeez.
Okay, and he is going to connect. You are sent sprawling backwards. It doesn't topple you. You hit the cart, and you actually hitting the cart does help push it forward a little bit with everybody else's help, who's still out trying to push some of them. But you do take damage. You're going to take. Okay, you're going to take 7 points of damage.
Jesus.
Minus your armor.
Okay.
Okay. And it snarls and goes again to knock another arrow. Sawyer, it's your turn. The cart is slowly beginning to move as people are trying to pull it along, and Morley's on the reins, and the cart is moving with your mother. What do you do?
Is she dying? How is she doing?
She's still breathing, but if she doesn't get help soon, she's going to bleed out.
So is it just a matter of the cart getting to the town as quick as possible? Okay, who's driving the cart?
Morley.
Do I know of any stories of mages being able to heal?
Morley suggested it. Morley
did.
suggested it at the
Oh, that's right.
house, and that was actually what set Percy off.
Hmm.
So as these thoughts go through your mind, you see Marin get knocked back, and he hits the cart, and you hear a loud crack, and you see the Genlock pulling another arrow out and getting ready to fire.
So I pull my arrow out and I try to fire it at that guy, and I call to
Okay.
Eric when I do this.
Perfect.
And I say, Eric, if what you say is true and you ever cared about me or Marin or my mother, I need your help. I need you. I need to use magic. I need you to heal her before it's too late. And I roll 11 to hit.
That is a hit.
Okay, so it does 6 points or 5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. So it actually it takes the hit and staggers back a bit and goes down onto one knee, breathing heavily. As the arrow looks like it was such a good hit that it might have gone clean through out the back. got an exit wound. All of your exit wounds. And it
Yeah.
looks like it's down for a little bit. Eric.
I have my hands still perched up with sort of sparks still flicking from my fingers as the Genlock is down after the subsequent turns. And Sawyer calls to me and I turn, almost startled, and I see him, and for a second I sort of pause, and the last memory of him and me and our interaction sort of washes over me as the flames behind my eyes sort of douse for a moment, and I run over to him in the rain. And I kind of stop before his mom, and I see the blood pooling, dripping down the cart, and I turn to him and I say, "Listen, I couldn't find the words to explain earlier. Whatever's in me, I was afraid of. I didn't tell you, and I didn't tell Mara, not because I didn't trust you, but because I didn't want it. It wasn't
My
something
hands
I
soaked in
studied.
blood.
It wasn't something I chose to have. It was something that I was born with." And as I do, I walk over and I put my hands sort of like tentatively looking for him to his approval. And then I place
And
my...
you can see I'm afraid. There's a little bit of fear in my eyes, but it's more afraid that my mom is dying, and there's blood in my hands and there's tears in my eyes as I look up at him and say, "Eric, do what you can."
And I put my hands on her stomach and I roll for healing. And it is a 6, 7, 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So target number is success, and it's 1d6 for every health. And I will roll, or sorry, 1 magic point for every d6. So I'll spend 3 magic points and I'll roll 3d6. I don't know how wounded she is. So.
If she catches flame, I'm going to be so pissed.
Oh, so that's only, wow, 5 health back.
Okay. The blood continues to soak, but it seems to stop. And she begins to breathe more regularly. By the way, when you heal someone, they've got an arrow sticking out of them.
Does it push the arrow out?
Does it push the arrow out?
You better believe it does. No, I
Like a
don't
bullet.
know. Like how Wolverine is?
You probably have to pull it out and then heal.
And as I bring my hands up from his mother, and the wound now closed,
Yeah.
I look up to him and I say, "I didn't give you a reason to trust me when I left. But I realized that being a hero is a choice. And if it means needing to explain that this power within me is not for evil, but it can be used for good, then so be it. You're still my friend, sire. I understand why you did what you did."
And I kind of just start to weep as I hold my mom and say, "Thank you, Eric."
Marin. The last Genlock struggles to push itself up from its knee, having just kicked you back.
Feeling
But it's obviously in pain, and it's having a very hard time getting back up to its feet. It's your turn. What do you do?
I'm feeling very confident now. Feeling a lot of hate towards these creatures who have attacked me, my 5-year-old brother, a group of unarmed people. So I, without hesitation, attack.
Okay,
Head on.
you hit him. Describe. No. You'd hit him. Don't worry about rolls.
All right.
Because of his state, you execute.
Okay, good.
Describe it.
Right. I was like,
Describe it.
really?
Narrative takes control.
So, standing in the rain. Standing in the rain. I stand there, and he's getting up, and I begin to run slowly at first, and then I pick up pace. And with the momentum, as soon as I'm in range, I bring my blade up and lop off his head from the throat up.
And in slow motion, his head spirals into the air, into the rain, sending flicks of blood in a spiral. And it's the body of the Genlock slowly collapses back, splashing into the mud.
Oh, backwards? Okay.
Yeah, not into you. So, the rain continues to fall. The sound of the cart moving down the road. And the sound of your heavy breathing. The three of you are left standing in the rain and the mud and the blood of these creatures.
And I walk over to Marin, and I look to him, and I grab his hand, and I look down to Morley, and I tussle his hair again. I say, Jesus, Morley, you blew up that Genlock's head. Well done.
Well, Morley, someone else has taken over driving the cart then, because Morley was supposed to be
right. Well, a few minutes later, I don't know.
Yeah, a few minutes later, and he kind of giggles and looks down.
You didn't even, did you see that, Marin? He didn't even have to draw a sword. He just looked the Genlock in the eye and he fell dead.
What is
Must have
Percy
some
doing this whole time?
special powers there.
Oh yeah, fucking Percy. Percy's dead, man. He's just
Percy,
It's cold. The cold
Percy is gone.
oh, is he?
In the chaos, in the fray of everything, Percy has run off, trying to escape. Seeing that you guys were completely outmatched, he decided that he would try his fare running through the wilderness alone. But the threat of the Darkspawn is still upon you guys, and just aside and morally giggling, his laugh fades away very quickly as he looks back to town. Do you think Mojoa's okay, Melwin?
I look down at Morley, and I smile. Merger's okay.
So, the three of you make your way back to the caravan, and continue your trip to Perrendale. And as the wagon goes up and down the uneven road, you sit, and you have a moment to think as the rain lets up a little bit.
And I do turn to Marin and Sawyer if he's nearby as well, and just sort of explain to them and say, for a long time, this fire was burning within inside me. I didn't know exactly what it was. It wasn't something that, like I said to Sire, that I chose to have or that I wanted put upon me, but I see it now as a gift and less of a curse. So long as I use it for good, which is what I plan to do.
It clearly had nothing to do with my mom's sickness, Eric.
No.
I just needed a place to place my blame, and Percy provided the fear, and you provided the reason. I'm sorry for what I did. I should not have assumed that this changed anything between us. You're still the same person that I can whoop any time on Cobbins Fields, or it's good for a joke, or to lighten my mood when I need you.
You might be able to whoop me anytime you want, but I'll still be kissing more girls. More and more, especially now that I can strip them from afar. Didn't I tell you the extent of my magic? Oh yeah, I can hover.
What else can you do?
I can levitate. I can climb any tree in an instant without having to actually physically lift my arms.
So, the three of you continue forward. A smile and a laugh return into your faces for what seems like it's been a very long time as you continue toward Perrendale. And was there one more thing, Marin?
I just wanted to say I kind of look at both of them, and I put my hands on both their shoulders, and I say, it's good to have you back, Eric.
Aye. It's good to be back too. Like Percy said, having each other is what's most important.
And with that, I would like to end this campaign with the same question that it started for each of you. Marin, what does it mean to be a hero?
It means being courageous, even when you don't think you can be, and even though you don't want to be, but it means standing up in the face of fear. Anyways.
Sawyer, after all that Sawyer has experienced in the past little while, what does it mean to be a hero?
To be a hero doesn't mean that you're perfect and you're able to do everything. Being a hero also means that you are there when people need you, even when it changes everything you believed in.
And Eric, after all that you've gone through in the past 24 hours, what does it mean to be a hero?
To be a hero is to make the right choice, even if it's the hard one.
Epilogue. And so the Darkspawn surged forward, an unknown archdemon motivating them into the land of Navara, and subsequently the rest of Thetis was plunged into the sixth blight. Darkness would consume the land and tip the scales yet again. Men and women would rise to fight them, of course, but fight them or not, and whether declared or forgotten, many would become heroes. And, now's the epilogue. The epilogue. At times of blight, when an archdemon is born from the hubris of man, they say that the veil becomes thinner. Spirits and demons have an easier time stepping out of their homes in the Fade, and many things, once stable, become significantly more unpredictable. In other words, it's a time where anything can happen. As dark energy surges into Thetis with this blight, it does so in the Fade as well. The sky is a bright shade of crimson, and despite the chaos in the world of man, one particular forest in the Fade is completely still. There is no wind to sway the trees or rustle the leaves. It is eerily calm. A man lies on his back in this forest, gazing blankly up to the crimson sky. Deep gashes mar his chest, and he lies in a pool of his blood. His long dark hair is matted with blood, and the broken shards of his Antivan rapier lie scattered around him. Suddenly, and quite unpredictably, the blood pooled in his chest began to ripple within the wounds. Again, there is no wind to do this, nor does the ground shake around him. Nevertheless, the blood swishes side to side, eventually slipping up and out of the wound. It streams onto the ground, collecting with the blood soaked into the earth around the Antivan man. As it collects, it trickles along the ground, almost with a will of its own, over the roots and a disturbed ground to the right of the corpse. Eventually, it reaches its destination, another body. The blood seeks its way up the second corpse's blood-stained robes and moves towards his chest. It has no trouble finding its way into the man's body, as his body is also ruined with fatal wounds. From one man to the other, the blood streams steadily into the second body, entering by the open wounds and nose and mouth. Amazingly, the wounds begin repairing themselves, and eventually, where there was once a deep wound, there are now only ragged scars. Gradually, color comes back to the man's face. His heart begins to beat once again, and with a sudden inhale, Penth opens his eyes. The end.
Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Age Heroes.
That was cool.
So cool. So cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us on this wild and crazy adventure. Let's have it a gas. I know. And one more round of applause for Justin. At the end.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Talk about an excellent adventure filled with lots of
Love.
Excellent
feels,
adventure.
And romance.
lots of
Romance.
fighting.
And a lovable
Well,
Irish
I really
character.
wanted it to be. I really wanted to make this a romantic
Comedy.
campaign. I wanted it
It
to be
came
all
true.
about the
I think it
love.
came through, for
Yeah.
sure. Morally, hilarious. Oh, man. Good job, Justin. Oh, one more
Thank you
round
very
of
much.
applause.
Thank you guys. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for everybody watching along too. This was
Yeah, thank you for
Well,
everybody
fun to watch
watching
it.
along and hanging out with us on this Wednesday night. This was, of course, Dragon Age Heroes. Man, it feels sad to be leaving this world once again, but always having those hooks means there is more to come, which always leaves me happy with dessert in my tummy. As with always, we are going to finish the stream with the end game post, which is the person which is the person who actually stood out the most, gave the most useful comments, and maybe the funniest or whatever. It's all over the map. Now, what I've done is I've marked a few, so I'm just scrolling up in Discord. How did everybody like Discord, by the way? I really liked it, personally. I thought it was a really
Yeah, it was
useful...
nice.
Yeah, me too.
I
actually.
liked it. I found it difficult though because it kept on popping up notifications. I'm sure there's a way to change it.
Yeah,
but
you can turn
it
off
just-
all that stuff, so... But,
Yeah.
So I marked the ones I liked with the little 100. So if you're ever watching on Discord and you get a little 100 from any of us, that means that you are part of the reviewing process for the Endgame XP. That's perfect too, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. So I did, Zia said, can Eric heal the sick mom? And Sora will really feel awful, which I thought was a great idea. Well, not the awful thing, to be honest. It was just that. Also, Mark Lane had to create as much light as possible, which gave me the idea for the flame
That was
thing.
clever.
And it worked out really well, so I thought that was a great one. So far, I think
Rin suggests that we ditch Sawyer's mom in a chantry.
Also, Zia said, can Alex get a bonus for protecting his brother, like the mom lifting the bus thing? Which I thought was really good.
Adrenaline surge.
The adrenaline surge,
She said myth, not a myth.
A myth? Oh,
She
yeah,
said it was a
I
myth.
said not a myth. Yeah, I didn't think it was a myth.
That's true.
It's not a myth.
It's true,
Is
right?
it?
Yeah, it's the actual adrenaline surge.
True.
What'd you say, Justin? Which one?
MILF. Sorry, what?
Different kind.
Justin likes those women that can lift cars and have children.
Yeah, yeah. Any other hundreds? I
Mothers.
know there was one at the beginning. Oh, here. Fertilizer makes a good explosive, block the cave.
Yes.
I like that one, actually. I thought that was a great idea from Mycl Barber, and if I was in town, I probably would have suggested it, to blow up the cave entrance and try to stop the darkspawn. So I personally would say let's give it to Mycl Barber, because I think that was a really good idea. What do you guys think?
Great.
Sure. That was good.
Love it.
Yeah?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mycl Barber, well done, mate. Well done, mate.
Bravissimo.
Bellissimo. So there you have it, Dragon Age Heroes, the 4-part mini campaign, which was a lot of fun to do. Thank you again so much for hanging out. Next week what's funny?
Oh no, I'm just there's the picture of Imogen in the woods. Michael, it just cracks me up. I love it.
Mycl is freaking adorable, and I was saying to them, because they were all asking about the colors, and I said, unfortunately, Mycl, you know, we all
Team
know
purple.
what's happened to
Right.
Mycl. He's just
Yeah.
gone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we are doing Call of Cthulhu. It's a game called The Witch's Mark. It is entirely homebrewed. It is an original story and all that kind of stuff. I'm really excited to use Discord for that, because I think that would be a great way to share stuff right away. That's what I was thinking too, because like in Call of Cthulhu last time, I had to host it on Imager and then post it to the Facebook group, and you had to sort through the Facebook group. With Discord, I'll probably have a separate thing for files, and it will be right there. You all can see it. Also, everything has just worked out really well because Google Hangouts has re-allowed overlays for whatever weird reason. So overlays are now working again. So, and I don't think I said that to you, Justin, but did you know that?
I noticed that. Yeah, I didn't actually. I see the ghoul box is there.
The ghoul box, but yeah, this is the overlays are back, so now we can start using overlays again.
That's very convenient.
Very convenient. I was very excited. I planned it out, to be honest. I was like, overlays are back.
Yeah, you called Google. You got
sent
that
a strongly worded letter to Google.
Yeah.
Not an email, a letter.
All caps.
Yes,
That's
all
right.
caps.
Ron.
And I've done a trailer up for Call of Cthulhu. Let's watch that, and then we'll say our goodbyes and all that kind of stuff. Or do you want to leave them with it? Should be the last thing that we do?
I think we should leave him with that.
Okay, you know what? Let's do that. Then I want to say goodbye to my very good friend Justin, who's gone for a few weeks on vacation.
Hi, everybody. Going to Germany and Amsterdam and Italia and France and Czechoslovakia.
He's gonna get so fucking high.
Czech Republic.
Wow.
You're gonna get so
I'm
high.
really excited for
You're
you.
gonna get stuffed on cheese and
We're
wine.
going to Amsterdam first, so we might not make it to the rest of the
No,
country.
you're just like, so how was your trip to Europe? What, man?
What?
Amsterdam, man. Although now it's not really that big of a thing because
All I
weed
care
is
about.
legalized pretty much everywhere. So it's not really that. Not the hookers though. What?
No, it's just funny the way you said that. You're right. Not the hookers.
Well, I mean, you could get hookers here, but realistically, it was not that.
That's not that hard.
No, it's not that hard.
But Czechoslovakia.
So Justin, we will
Awesome.
miss ye, and send us lots of postcards and take some pictures,
All the postcards
Or
that
else.
I can find.
or else. All right, yes. So next Wednesday, Call of Cthulhu: The Witch's Mark. It is going to be a brand new series with brand new characters. It'll take place 2 years after the end of our last Call of Cthulhu episode. So I am going to play the trailer and see how this works. You guys, if you can mute yourselves so we don't talk. No, 1923 is the year that this is taking place. Everybody muted? Let's see how this works. Without further ado, the trailer for Call of Cthulhu. That's right. So next week we are here with Call of Cthulhu: The Witch's Mark with Chris Viseau, my very good friend Mr. Mycl Barber. He is going to be playing this. It is going to be a condensed, a close little adventure with the three of us, full of a lot of fantastic twists and turns. I want to stress now, and we'll stress at the beginning of next game, this one is 18 plus strong. There's a lot of, and I've said it through a lot of campaigns, but I sincerely want to push that, because this one gets pretty dark. So, thank you so much for hanging around. You guys have yourself a fantastic night. We will see you next Wednesday. And as Chris always likes to say,
We'll see you around the table.
we will see you around the table, guys. Good night.